to pick it up.
How long should I hold it there for?
Like 2 or 3 seconds and bang on. So my
Cool. Can I put these there, or do I have to hold them?
Put it behind if you want. Hello and welcome to the heated debate brought to you by Emirates. It is game day for England fans, so it's only right I had to wear the England shirt. England taking on Iran, their first matchup in Group B. And of course, we've got to be talking about all of those huge topics that Gareth Southgate, that the media, that you guys are all talking about. So what better place to do it than right here in Doha, Qatar, with some incredible guests as well. But you can get in touch, so please do that. Use the hashtag #TheHeatedDebate. I've also got the live stream up in front of me, and I've got all of your comments, so please do get in touch. Let us know, are we right, are we wrong? Who would you have in your starting 11? Because that is the focus of today's show, and to help me do it, we've got two extraordinary guests to do this and to help us get into Gareth Southgate's mind and what he could be possibly thinking ahead of tonight. We've got James Allcott, YouTuber, with us yesterday as well. You were getting quite a lot of feedback yesterday, especially in the comments, James. And, of course, we're joined by Sam Obaseki. Sam, welcome to the show. Anyway, not welcome to Qatar. You've been here longer than all of us. For yourself, how have you found it so far?
It's good, man. I feel like the vibe is building up, especially because the England game, the first England game today, I'm seeing a lot of England fans and a lot of England tops as well. So, yeah, I'm buzzing to get going.
And James, first game down yesterday, what did you make of it? Ecuador coming out 2-0 winners against Qatar. Not the most exciting game, let's be completely honest. We were watching it together, but it definitely got people talking.
It's certainly got people talking. Well put. I think comfortable was the word that came to mind for Ecuador. Very, very comfortable for them. Great for them to get that first win. Obviously not as great for Qatar. Today, for me, really feels like the World Cup starts with England playing. I cannot wait to go to that game. I'll be going to the Wales game as well later tonight, and there's a lot of Welsh fans out here. So many bucket hats. So I'm excited to go see both of those games. It's Group B's kicking off, and that's a big one for me. I think it's going to be great.
It is indeed. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to try and get into Gareth Southgate's mind. That's because today's heated debate is all about the starting 11 to face Iran. Plenty of talk. So many people saying that, well, Harry Maguire's starting now. There's been talk about who the midfield will be. Could we see some newer, fresher faces coming in? And on the wings, plenty of attackers to go for. So who will Gareth Southgate pick? We'll find out later. We're going to come to you guys and see who you will pick. And we're going to, of course, start with the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford. Three incredible goalkeepers, three that have, for club, shown what they can do. Maybe not as much this season for some of them. But for England, there's only been one main man, especially since Russia 2018, Jordan Pickford. But that's my opinion. What about yours? Combined 11 between the two. Let us know in the comments who's right, who's wrong, who would you agree with, who do you want to debate with. Let us know. Goalkeeper, who are we starting for?
I think this is a unanimous decision. I wouldn't change it too much. For me, it has to be Jordan Pickford. He's not really done anything wrong for England when he's been playing. I know you mentioned his club form for Everton. I think it's been half and half this season. I don't think he's done anything extremely wrong to, be displaced by Ramsdale. So yeah, I'll go with Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, I get it. You got Nick Pope, who that Germany game does stick in my mind, and his kicking was just not really up to it, and I think that's one of the best things about Pickford. Ramsdale much closer when it comes to that department, but Pickford, as you say, got the experience of major tournaments, I think has been good for Everton over the last year. Prior to that, there were wobbles, but I think this is an easy one. I think it has to be Pickford.
How important will distribution be? That's something that people talk about when it comes to Pickford, but surely Premier League goalkeepers like Nick Pope like Aaron Ramsdale, they can distribute the ball quite well. We've seen Ramsdale do it this season. But Pickford's still number one, James, for you when it comes to that?
Definitely, yeah. I think quick, effective with his passing. Ramsdale is very dynamic. I think it's getting very, very close between the two of them. And at some point, you could see Ramsdale maybe overtaking him, but just not yet for me.
It's actually split in the comment section. I'm just going through them right here. Who should be number one? I mean, plenty of people are saying that Jordan Pickford, especially what he's done at Russia, what he did in the Euros last year as well. But Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal, if you look at club form, there's that conversation. Jordan Pickford, Everton, not doing so well this season. Arsenal, they're top of the Premier League, and a lot of that is down to Ramsdale's performances so far this season. Sam, do you not think that is a shout that he should actually be in there because of that form that he's currently in right now?
I think he deserves a shout, but like I said earlier, I think Pickford hasn't had a terrible season. If he had a terrible season and Ramsdale was performing the way he is, then I'd understand. But when I watch Pickford and I watch Ramsdale, I don't think that there's that much disparity between both of them, even in terms of the way they are as keepers, their distribution. I think Ramsdale is edging him a little bit, but I don't think it's an extreme to displace Pickford.
Well, Pushan saying that Pope should be number one. We've got Reece Harvey saying that it should be Ramsdale. Adrian has picked 3 players that must start. One of them includes Pickford. As I said, it is splitting the live chat and the comments right here. Remember, you can get in touch, hashtag the heated debate, or in the YouTube comments. We are live on Sky Sports Football and Sky Sports News as well. We're going Pickford. We're locking that in. We're not changing it. James, you look like you.
Well, I've just got to say, it's gonna be chaos. if we're getting angry about this one, the rest of this team's going to be absolute chaos.
I know we've got only 25 minutes. We've got 10 positions to fill. At this point, we've got the goalkeeper, but we need to talk about formation. I've got 2 questions for you. Which formation will Gareth Southgate pick? Which formation are we going for in this one?
I think we're aligned with Gareth in this one. I think the thing I like about Gareth, time and again, and I think the squad really spoke volumes of that, is that I think he has humility, and I think he won't just dig his heels in. He'll go, no, this is the lay of the land, this guy's on form, this could work for us. And you saw that with the picks of Rashford, the picks of Maddison as well. And I think the same goes for some of these games. And that's why I actually believe he will go with a back 4 in this game. I would play a back 4 in this game. I think he's going to save the 3 at the back for the knockout stages.
Harder games,
Yeah, because Kyle Walker as well is missing for this game. Maddison's not available either, but Kyle Walker in particular, if you're going to play that back 3, that's where you want to see Kyle Walker. So give him time. Let's play a back 4. Let's trounce Iran. And let's just have a good time.
I'm telling you, the comment section, everyone's still arguing, they're debating, let's say, about the goalkeeper. We've had some for the formation. 4-2-3-1, Ronish has said. Give us a shout out or give us a shout in the comments. What formation would you go for? So we're saying 4 at the back.
Yeah.
Let's start with right back then. It feels like we started with so many right backs. Trippier, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Kyle Walker. I mean, they're just 4 names that you think of automatically. Obviously, through injuries, we've got no Reece James. Kyle Walker won't be starting this game. So it leaves 2, really, Trippier or Trent Alexander-Arnold. Who are we going with?
Well, I've gone with him, and the thing is, there's a lot of injuries, but I'd still go with this guy just because he's been so consistent this season for Newcastle, and for England, he's done quite well as well over the last few tournaments, and that is Kieran Trippier. I think this season, a lot of people are questioning, who's the best right back for England, how they're going to perform, if they're going to, who's where, and I think Trippier has really, embraced that, and he's genuinely one of the best right backs, not only in the Premier League but in the world. So I've gone Kieran Trippier.
Okay, so you're putting that there. I'm going to need an argument maybe for Trent, but just 1 second, okay? If everyone was fit, including Reece James, obviously wasn't chosen in the 26-man squad, do you think that Trippier starts? Do you think he's the strongest out of them all, Sam?
I think Southgate would trust him more. And I think it would be this type of game against Iran. He might have tried something new. Reece James is much younger. He's probably one for the future. But in terms of tried and tested under Southgate, someone that he knows is going to perform, I think that would have been a position that Southgate might have struggled with because they're all to a high level. So it's not like if James didn't play that people say, oh, Trippier. I think they're all quality.
You're just thinking of that free kick, aren't you? You're thinking of it 4.5 years ago.
Right, this is the man who can do free kicks as well, obviously. I actually, and people will be screaming if they know about this, it was on Football Daily, we had to pick a team for the whole tournament. If you had to just pick one team in one formation, and in that I played a back three with Trippier as a right-sided centre-back, and I had Trent in the team for that one. I've changed my mind a little bit. I feel like we need one more attacking player higher up the pitch. Which, Sam, I know you agree with that, because we've kind of we're aligned with our formation. And so if that is the case, then I do step down on Trent, and I go with Trippier as that right back, because he's been doing that for Newcastle as well brilliantly. He's in great form.
Sam's reaction right there to you saying a right-sided centre-back for Trippier was brilliant. That's going to get clipped up, memed, that's going out right there, because I don't think he agrees that that's Trippier's position, and he thinks you should go right back. Right, centre-backs then, we've got, again, plenty of choice. Lots of debate around who Gareth Southgate did choose in the final squad. Who are we putting? Who do you think would be the best pairing, starting with that right-sided centre-back?
I've got my Southgate head on, and I feel like I'm going with some of the players that I know he trusts and also have performed quite well this season, and that is John Stones. I don't think anyone is going to argue with me as the right-sided centre-back. I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. He's tried and tested for England as well, and he's just a quality player. So John Stones next to Trippier.
I mean, I'm not arguing with that. I mean, I agree with that one. But James, any debate on this?
No, not with John Stones. I think he's the first pick when it comes to centre-backs, regardless of a back three or a back four. I think specifically with a back four for Man City, of course, you're then going to pick him once again when, hopefully, we're going to have the ball a lot in this game. The big debate's the next one, isn't it? Because
it is, and there's a lot of debate here. I've got a few. Some people have given their entire back four. Someone said Trippier, Ben White, Stones and Shaw. We've got Stones and White pairing, end of. So Adnan says Stones and White pairing. George Hall says 4 of them. Chapo says Ben White, clearly the best right back in the league right there. Pushan saying I'll go for Trent Alexander-Arnold just because it's Iran. This is obviously for the right back spot, and he's an attacking right back. Who would you have as your centre back pairing? Who joins John Stones? Who would you say? Because I think I've mentioned one of the names that you're going for. Look at that face.
I mean, it's good to know you're right sometimes. And let me know in the chat here, guys. So Ben White is my pick. I think we're going to have the ball a lot. I want 2 ball-playing centre-backs who are, technically really, really sound. And Ben White, for me, if he plays left-sided centre-back or right-sided centre-back, same goes with Stones, I think that's the best too. I want us to go and dominate this game. I think they're going to play with a low block. And with that in mind, Ben White is a really, really good option. People talk about being a right back. This is the thing, I think, with formations as well, and that's why my Trippier shout is also a fantastic shout. Because although he's playing as a right-sided centre-back, if we've got the ball a lot of the time, you can then go into a different position. You see it with Man City all the time. Cancelo plays as a winger most of the time, right? So I think that the same goes with Ben White. He was initially a centre-back. At Brighton, he was a centre-back. At Brighton, he played on the left-hand side at times as well. And I think that's kind of been forgotten a little bit because he's been so good at Arsenal. And I think he's got to play and he'd be my second centre-back.
Well, I think that answers one of the comments right here. Naz has just said there's so many comments, I've actually just lost it. Oh, here it is. How is Stones and White even going to work?
They're quite similar.
Just explain.
They are quite similar. You did just explain that he could play on that left side. I'm going to throw this in, though. Harry Maguire, we had the news on Sky Sports News before that he is set to start tonight. What message would it show to Harry Maguire, to an experienced player, to someone that's been in there, been vital for us at times, if he doesn't play tonight? If Harry Maguire does not start for England tonight,
right,
does that set the precedent for the tournament? Does he fight and get his spot back in there? Has he had enough game time to even play?
And I think that's why he has to start, because Southgate's come out and said and put so much trust in saying Maguire as one of the best centre-backs for England, if not the best centre-back. And the fact that we all know, yes, he's not playing as much for Manchester United, and when he has played, he hasn't been as great. But for England, there's always that argument. Remember, I've got my Southgate head on, so I'm trying to use that logic as well. But I think for England, we've seen a few clips as well. I know you can't really look into that too much, but he looks confident. He's around an environment that he's used to. They love him. He performs there as well. And I think this is going to set the precedent for the rest of the games. Iran's probably going to be one of our easiest games of the tournament. If you don't start Maguire here, then it looks like...
I'm telling you, people are saying everyone's writing Iran off already as well. I think we've all forgotten this because we're here in Qatar. The game's actually in the afternoon for everyone back at home, so even though it'll be late afternoon for us, we need to make a decision because we're debating this so much.
The Maguire one is Southgate's biggest risk. It really is, because what Sam is saying here is that get him in this game and allow him to sort of get that confidence, because I think down the road he wants to play him as the left-sided centre-back when they go to a back three.
Yeah.
In a back four, I just still wouldn't put him in there. I think over the last 3 seasons, 7 errors have led to goals from Maguire. I don't like him in a back four. I wouldn't pick him. Carl, you're going to have to pick between the two of us.
Yeah, you're going to have to pick still, because I can hear your argument as well. I think White deserves a spot in this team, but at the same time, the same as this season for Arsenal, he hasn't played centre-back really, so would it be a bit off to put him in England's first game?
I'm going to let this comment decide, OK? Adam Shaw said Southgate has got a picture of Maguire in his wallet. 1,000,000% he plays. So I'm going to put Maguire in
One
there.
prediction I will make. If Maguire starts, Maguire scores a header today.
Oh, and that song comes back and everyone's right.
Yeah.
Left back, it feels like there's only one man that we can really put in there. I don't think there's any debate about this. You've got him there, Luke Shaw. He scored in that game in the final last year. He knows he can get up and down that wing. No contest at all with this guy, Trippier, playing left back?
Not for me. I get it. He's a sort of safe, sensible, very smart option on both sides. But I like Luke Shaw. I know Clinton Morrison loves him as a centre back, but I like him as a left back. Morning, Clinton.
We're never going to let go of that.
I like him as a left back. I think it's an easy one. It's going to be a big tournament for him because there's no other options really.
Yeah, and I think he's coming to form as well for United. I think that he does really well when competition comes in, and then he has to step up his game. And I think he's coming to form at the right time for England.
Right, well, let's move on to the midfield because we've taken 10, 15 minutes to just do 5 players. We've still got midfield and attack. We're going with 4 at the back, so we're not doing 4-4-2. We're doing 4-3-3. We're doing
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1.
Okay, let's talk about these two midfielders then, because we know we've seen Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. That was kind of the mainstay years. Well, you'd say in the tournament, the Euros last year, but the last 6 games. We've seen that Bellingham has come into the mix and he's playing more and more, not just at club level, but for his country. I'll let you guys debate about this. Who's the mainstay? Who gets changed? Who do we see tonight?
I think the mainstay, Declan Rice. I think he's definitely going to start. He's performed at a high level for England, for West Ham over the last few years. He's come into his own as well. And I think we've seen a maturity in his game with the way he drives forward with the ball as well. Not too reliant on the people that he's playing around as well. So yeah, Declan Rice for me has to start.
Right, well, get in the comments, let us know who would you put alongside Declan Rice. I think we can all agree he plays there. So we've got this argument then, this debate. We've got Calvin Phillips. Sam, there's something you said before. Maguire has to start because he needs that game time, and it sets the precedent if he doesn't start. Calvin Phillips coming back from a shoulder injury. If he doesn't start tonight, when does he play?
I think it's quite different for Phillips because he's coming back from injury. Maguire was forced out from his club team because of other players playing at a high level. Phillips, I think he's only played one or two games this season. I think that would be a huge risk, and the fact that Bellingham is probably in the form of his life right now, I think it would be kind of harsh not to play him.
James, will he ever play then? If he doesn't play tonight, does Calvin Phillips play in this tournament? Because what was the point in bringing him? He played 56 minutes, then he got injured, came back for the League Cup game against Chelsea just before we came out here to Qatar. For Calvin Phillips, is tonight that opportunity to shine and show what he can do?
So put him up there for a second. So we've got Phillips here. That's the wrong
one.
Put Phillips here, just for a second. So the reason why, 1, you take him, 2, you maybe play him, is because if you're going to play Maguire and Stones, if you think with Man United, what's kind of worked for them when Maguire's played there and they played in a back 4, is they like this box. They like this box to protect Maguire. And you would have had that with McTominay and Fred last year. And I think the thing comes with Southgate and him being that little bit more conservative. The reason why you would play Phillips in this game with a back 4 is to provide that security. I don't think you need to do it. And also, again, you don't have to play everyone. I think the reason Phillips is even in the squad with the lack of minutes that he's had is because he's not a starter. And if you do need him, you might need him a little bit later down the road, and it is what it is kind of thing. I don't think he starts, but the reason he would start is because Southgate's being that little bit more conservative. But I think we should be a little bit more punchy.
Let's talk about the other man then that's not on there right now, Bellingham. So many comments, but one that's jumped out to me is from Frank just here. Something we've not even talked about yet. Bellingham and Calvin Phillips. Obviously Bellingham, the number 22, he can play the 4, the 8 and the 10. Is that a duo we could see at any point, you think? Is there a world where Declan Rice doesn't play for England?
I think Rice is the mainstay. I think the conversation is definitely Bellingham and Phillips. But to your point earlier, I think that the job that you're asking Phillips to do, yes, we've seen he's assured and he's done it for England as well. But I don't think Bellingham out of touch to do that. I think he can do that role if he's asked to do it, to protect the back four, work with Rice. We've seen in the games, the qualifying games as well, they were playing together, so they have got a knack to playing together. So I think it would be too risky to play Phillips right now because of the lack of minutes that he's played.
Yeah. Right, well, another comment that's just jumped out. Will Perkins, Dex and Jude, he's obviously good mates with him right there. Double pivot has to be, for sure. Is that what we're going for? Are we saying Bellingham to start tonight?
Because I think the thing with Bellingham, so without the ball, you can do this. Also, I think we should be getting at the opposition. The thing that some people might not know is that the stadiums have that air conditioning, and actually they've been quite chilly. I've got my coat ready for the game, so it's not one of those where I think you can press teams if you want to do it. And actually, as much as that's a double pivot, what you could also do is Rice can sit there and Bellingham can go on that little bit more, and it can be a bit more like you would have seen with, say, Liverpool, where you have one guy who sits, and Bellingham, if he wants to go, that's fine, because Rice has got that stamina and that ability to cover that ground and safeguard it as well. Because again, I think Iran won't have too much of the ball. They will look to counter-attack at times. So I think you can have someone who's that little bit more positive in Bellingham. And I just think that's an amazing two. I think it is. And I think
let's lock that in then. Do you agree with us? Let us know in the comments. I'm sure plenty will disagree. Someone's even thrown in the word Henderson in there. So that's someone we didn't talk about, but we could see him feature at some point if we need to shore up that midfield. Let's go for our attacking midfielder then. Number 10, are we saying here then? Because we're going 4-2-1-3. We've got plenty of talent. We could have Jack Grealish, we could have Mason Mount, we could have Conor Gallagher, we could have Phil Foden, we could have James Maddison, obviously injured, so I don't think he'll feature tonight. But again, another position where we've got a wealth of talent, and not just talent, exciting players as well, which England fans are calling out for, James.
Yes, yeah. I think, Sam, I'd like to hear your option first, because I think there's different options for different styles and they provide different things. My shout is one that I don't think many people would go with it, and I don't think Gareth will go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go with your.
I avoided Sam's because I know he was going to pick.
No, because there is that narrative that it's a bias. Genuinely, it's not. I think at this point, if everyone was fit that played in that position, I would pick Maddison because of form, and I think he'll do really well with the forwards. But right now, because he's injured and he hasn't trained with the squad, I've gone with Mason Mount. And I think Mason Mount is a player that, he's struggled with form this season, but at the same time, it's his work rate that we see off of the ball and even on the ball at times that it doesn't drop to a really low level. I think for England as well, we saw, I can't remember what game it was, we saw when he came on Germany game. He's got that hunger, and he can change a game with one pass. Do you know what I mean? And I think with Southgate, he likes players, and he has a core of players that he knows are tried and tested and that will always give 100% one. Off the ball are quality, on the ball they're quality as well, and also there's certain players that can come in that will bring something different, and that's where James comes in.
Fidel agrees with you. He says Mount Cam, there's no other way, but I'm inspecting his profile picture on YouTube. It's a picture of Mason Mount, so I understand that. Alda says, I'd like to see Madders start, but it will inevitably be Mason Mount, obviously for tonight with that injury. I mean, James, looking at Mason Mount, looking at the form he's been in for club, people will talk about that. But for England, has he had the chance to actually showcase what he can do? Because people are saying here that he's underrated.
That's his best position as well, I would say, Mason Mount, is that attacking midfield role. The problem is, I think, spoiler alert, I think we're probably going to go Harry Kane as a striker, who often likes to drop deep, right?
Are we?
So, yeah. So I think you need someone who's going to work in different spaces. The problem for Mason Mount a lot of time with England is that he drifts off into other spaces to almost stay out the way sometimes. I would like Harry Kane to maybe stay out the way a little bit, and that's why I wouldn't go for Mason Mount. In terms of different options, and Mount is very, very intelligent in terms of his movement. But in terms of pressing and getting at the opposition, and the Guardian were talking about this, Conor Gallagher, obviously another Chelsea player, as a sort of pressing forward midfielder in that position, if you want to go at the opposition, win the ball with a press, and then it's going to be that little bit more chaotic and it might open up. And if Gareth Southgate doesn't think he can break down this team, he thinks the best chance is to get at them, Conor Gallagher could actually be an option. I mean, it's not my pick, but I think it would also, I wouldn't like this one due to the fact that I feel like Southgate would essentially be saying, I don't think with pattern of play and passing we can break you down. But people were talking about him and saying that he might be an option. So it's going to be interesting to see if he has some kind of role to play, maybe even comes on. The pick that I would go with, I'd love to see Jack Grealish as the number 10, right? And the reason I say that is because set pieces matter in tournaments. He will pick up the ball in those little areas. He always hangs on to it. And if he doesn't, he wins so many fouls. And we've got great delivery in terms of players like Trippier. And I think we can score some set pieces. And I think that's what gets you far into a tournament. And I just think Grealish would be an amazing option as that number 10. I don't think he'll do it, but that's what I'd love to see.
Well, Ryan Cooper agrees with you. He says that it has to be Grealish behind in that number 10 position. But again, plenty of people saying who they would think. Naz said, I'd prefer Foden as a 10. Mace is a natural 8. Plenty of nicknames right, from these people in the comments right now. Foden won't play 10 for England. That's another option that we do have. I love to watch Phil Foden going through the middle.
You know them better than anyone. Which one out of those two would you like to see?
I'd like to see him play down the middle, but I think working with Harry Kane as a striker, he could link up and he could play, and it could be amazing. I think playing out on the wing where we've tended to see Phil Foden, he's restricted sometimes when it comes to England compared to club level and actually when he's playing in the Premier League or in different tournaments there. I think we've got Foden, Cam, Rashford left wing, Saka right wing, Kane striker. Someone's given us their full attack right there. That was Kung Bae right there. So thank you for that one. Give us a shout. Who do you think should be in? Cam, who are we going for? I picked the last one. I'm going to let you lock this one in. Mount, Grealish, Gallagher.
I'll tell you, you can pick the next one. I really like Grealish. I feel strong about this one, so I'd really love to see Grealish in.
I'll give you that.
We're putting that in. Do you think he'll start tonight? We'd love to see him start, of course. Will Gareth Southgate pick Jack Grealish tonight? Yes or no? Quick answer from you, James. No. There we go. He's not, but we have got him in. Right, let's talk about the front three because, again, so many attacking players. We've maybe talked about a couple of them playing in there. Is there a world where we see Phil Foden on one of the wings that we've seen? Saka, Harry Kane? Have we just got Kane through the middle?
Yeah, should we do that now?
We're not talking about Rashford playing as a striker, which we've seen him do at club level.
Off the bench, but I don't see a world, unless he's injured and fatigued, that Kane doesn't start for England.
Yeah.
Okay, let's lock him in. There's no answers, no arguments. We're not having that right now. And then looking at this, Kane, does he get the golden boot once again, as we've seen at the last tournament? Is this the most attacking side we've seen for England? Will the goals be spread in this tournament, do you think, James?
I hope so. I think I would like to see that. That's. I think when we're coming on to our next picks, I think the thing that I want to see in terms of spreading out of those goals, I want to have a player who drives beyond and stretches the play, because that will create that space for Kane and for Grealish. And again, Kane is a 10 and a 9, but he's not the one who's going to run the channels. And that's why when we're talking about Rashford, I just feel like Rashford actually is probably going to have to play out wide if he was going to get into this team. But I think we need someone who's going to make that diagonal run. But I don't think Southgate will go with Rashford, despite his form.
Right, so we've got Harry Kane locked in just there. Let's talk about that right wing and left wing. I mentioned that Phil Foden, we've predominantly seen him play on the right at times. You've got Raheem Sterling, we've not even mentioned him. He's been playing for England for 10 years now. This is his... let me count it up. If you've got, he started in 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018, 2020. This is fifth tournament right here. I had to do the maths right there to get that together. Quick maths. Fifth international tournament, highest capped English player in the squad. Surely, and the goals he got for us at Euro 2020 as well. He was vital for us scoring goals when maybe Harry Kane wasn't putting in those performances. Does Raheem Sterling play on that left wing for you?
Oh, so I like him on the right. I like him on the right, and the reason I like him on the right is because I think he can make that diagonal run, and it has a bit of a partnership with Kane. If you think of the goal against Croatia in that first game, making that run beyond, that's why I like him. That's why I think Gareth likes him. He stretches the pitch that little bit. And again, when I said that's why Grealish might not play, is because I think Grealish you kind of bring on, and think of the Germany game now, he comes on, tired legs, his dribbling ability, and you saw Sterling score a goal there as well. So yeah. I actually like Sterling on the right. So I would actually have Foden on the left.
Interesting. I mean, Sam, I can see you disagree. Quickly on Raheem Sterling, because obviously you've watched him this season, and at club level that position has changed slightly. At Manchester City, he was always in and around that 6-yard box, always there to get those tap-ins, as people would say, but He scored plenty of goals. Surely off the right or left, do you think that there'd be one position that he'd favour to get in and around that box?
Yeah, I think I've put Sterling on the left, and I think a lot of people have said that he's not been as consistent for Chelsea this season. I can agree to a certain extent. I think people underestimate how hard it is to, climatise to a different team, but also the fact that there's been so many changes at Chelsea. He's played in so many different roles. He's adapted to a few roles as well. And even when he started for Chelsea, we saw him scoring a few goals. Yes, it's dropped off a little bit, but I think for England, we know what he can do. And there's certain players, certain senior players. You mentioned the amount of the tournaments that he's been at, how well he's done for Southgate as well, how pivotal he was to our success at the Euros as well. I can't see a world where Sterling is on the bench or even playing on the right. I can hear him on the right, but on the left, he has to start on the left. I think his relationship that he has with Kane going forward as well, we've seen how well they connect moving forward, and I think Sterling has to.
You're fighting for your life right now. You want Sterling, isn't it?
So
he's got to go on the ball.
He's really convinced. He's going to start saying something.
Hear me out. This is my last shout. Now, I presume the comments are getting very, very angry about the fact the other man that you've got in your hand there, Saka.
Everyone is saying Saka.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
He should be.
So I think the shout is, and Trippier, if you think of Almiron and how well he's played, right? The reason for that is because Trippier kind of gives him that free rein, and actually Almiron pretty much plays as a forward, right? So that's again why I like Saka or Sterling. I think it's a shootout for Saka or Sterling on the right-hand side, because Foden plays on the left-hand side. So let's have our best players in positions that work for them. I think you're bowing down to experience by playing Sterling on the left-hand side.
You look annoyed, Sam.
No, you know what it is? Because I think Saka is one of those players that you have to start on the right. I think for England, he's shown his quality. For Arsenal this season. He's shown that he's so young, but he's one of their senior players as well. But also for Foden, I'm not saying he isn't quality and he hasn't, done really well for Manchester City this season.
So who are you dropping?
But Foden's getting dropped.
You're dropping Foden?
Yeah, Foden's getting dropped.
You're dropping Foden?
Yeah, but it's one of those... It's not one of those, he's not good enough, or I don't think he's going to start one of the other games. But I think if we're starting the first game, Saka, Kane and Sterling has to be the front three. I think Saka has more of a shout than Sterling. I think Saka is just there. Okay. We should just put him there then you argue the other side.
I'll let you have Saka on the right-hand side.
Okay, we've got Saka on the right.
Because Saka has played on the right-hand side for Arsenal, so I get it, right? Sterling has scored, 3-4 goals this season? Foden has scored more. Loads of goals. Obviously in a better team. I get Chelsea are very clunky at the moment. You cannot not start Phil Foden.
But England, we're talking about England. We're talking about players that have performed for England. Sterling is one of the highest performers for England. Foden, when he's played, he's a quality player, but he hasn't showed out for England. He just hasn't. And I'm not saying he's not going to this tournament. Hopefully he does. But at the same time, we have to go with players that we know are going, or we know of their track record and that have performed for England, and Sterling is one of those players. I think you have to have a balance. I think you need to have a balance. You need to have a balance of players that are on form and have players that we know are tried and tested. That's why I put Maguire, I put Rice, Sterling and Kane are one of those players. Same with Pickford. That's the core for me.
Phil Foden, 8 goals in all competitions in 20 appearances. Probably not had all the headlines because of Erling Haaland at Manchester City, but no Foden, 8 goals, 20. Sam, I'm shocked.
I know you support. Yeah, I understand it. I understand your points.
Go to the comments on this one, because guys, in the comments, one of these players can't play. Saka, Sterling or Foden. One of them can't play. Say the player that you would drop. And
wow.
I reckon the person who goes most... So, Saka and Sterling, I don't mind who plays out of those two, because Saka's in great form, Sterling I like on the right. You can't drop Phil Foden.
Is that the precedent that you're going to use moving forward? So if Foden starts today, Sterling's going to be on the bench for the rest... Is that what you're saying?
I think we see how this first game goes. If Saka's not doing it and you need someone who's going to be a bit more of a striker than a winger...
Much, bro. You can't change too much. Sterling has been one of England's best performers in the tournament.
26 players, mate.
But I understand that. But Sterling is a senior player. I can't believe this is happening. I'll be completely honest, because I feel like that front three is
I trust the people.
Well, the people here, they are talking, let me tell you that. We've had a comment just right here. People wanting a lot for Rashford. Very interesting that we've not even talked about him. But Foden, there's so much in here. Foden and Sterling, people are saying no Saka.
No,
Saka and Foden.
Starting.
Put Foden behind the striker and Sterling on the left. Bench Sterling. We've got Foden Cam. We've got Foden should back Harry Kane. Bakayo, my goat. Matthew Harrison saying it has to be Phil Foden. I mean, plenty of people are saying it's got to be, and the one that I've got to say right here, we've had it. Phil Foden is a generational talent.
He is.
He must start. Callan, I agree. No Phil Foden.
He is a generational talent, but you guys, I need to take you back to the Euros, yeah? All of the times where England fans were celebrating, or majority of the goals, who was involved? Raheem Sterling, yeah?
We can play him on the right.
But no, because Saka has to start. I think Saka's undroppable in my opinion. Every time he's played for England, when he's come off the bench, he's been amazing. This front three, for England, tried and tested, they perform. Foden hasn't done it at the level yet. He's still young. I believe he's generational, but for me, the first game, you got to go with this front three.
Honestly, since you've done the call out for who people should drop, we've had about 100 more Sterling. And more people are saying drop Raheem Sterling. I'm surprised at that. He scored plenty of goals. But
that's mad.
The people have spoken right here.
I'll let you lot do that. You know, not happy about it.
He's not happy. Look at his face. He's not happy at all.
Look, substitutes come on, okay? The thing that matters here is it is coming home, guys. Well, it's going to be a great day. We're going to score lots of goals. Sterling, you can come on and score a goal as well. We don't have to be selfish with this.
And remember, I'm talking from a Southgate. I've got my Southgate hat on.
Yep.
Long hair. Putting it all back. I'm telling you, Sterling is starting.
Okay.
I can understand the Foden argument, but Sterling...
Well, this is the team we've locked in. Let me tell you, people disagree, people agree. I'm sure on the socials they'll be doing the same as well. Let's look at the game tonight then. Well, it's tonight for us, but it's actually in the afternoon for England. And a 1 p.m. kickoff, 4 p.m. over here in Qatar. It's going to be very hot in the stadiums, maybe not so much. But if this 11 comes up against Iran, first match-up in Group B, predictions for it? James, I'll come to you.
I get it. Yeah, English fans don't want to be positive. I'll do it for you, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to be fine, guys. Why not, okay? We are a major nation with major depth and quality. We've got the best league in the world, and we're going to win 3-0.
3-0?
Yes.
Wow, okay, he's gone for it. Sam,
I'm going.
score prediction?
I'm going 2-0. A bit conservative. I think clean sheet is important, but yeah, I'm going 2-0, comfortable. Keep it moving.
And then it will be 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. over here for the Wales-USA game. Let's quickly reflect on that. Gareth Bale's been speaking, and they're looking ahead to see their first World Cup. 64 years they've been waiting. The Red Army are here in Qatar. We've seen the bucket hats, we've seen the excitement, and the Wales shirts. The jerseys have been on show. Thinking they're going to get a win. Could we see them challenge England? If we have to win in that first game for Wales as well, they'll want to challenge us all the way.
I think both teams just don't want to lose that one.
Yeah,
I think it does. It feels like it's got a draw written all over it. I would say that sort of style-wise, in terms of playing on the counter-attack, Dan James, Bale, Brennan Johnson on that right-hand side, USA will sort of come out that little bit more and might leave that space in behind. I know Anthony Robertson, the left-back, likes to bomb on. You've got Dest on the right. And I think with that in mind, Wales might just nick it, but it feels like a draw for me.
Yeah, I'm quite intrigued to see the USA play. I think they've got quite a young squad. You know, Pulisic, one of the captains. I think McKennie, Dest, Rayner as well. They've got a core quality of young players, and I think if they start the tournament well, they could be, potentially one of the teams that could qualify.
Well, it's been a pleasure just to sit back and to enjoy. I should have got the popcorn out to see you guys going head-to-head in the heated debate, brought to you by Emirates as well. So, guys, enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the games. As always, thank you for getting in touch. The comments have been brilliant today. Make sure you drop us a like, comment and subscribe on the video. We will be back every single match day with the heated debate, talking about all those big topics. Arguing, I think that's how we can sum it up today, and having our guests not happy as there we go. That'll be a substitute that we can have.
Play with 12. An option.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I've enjoyed it thoroughly, so thank you. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk about those results. England taking on Iran in Group B, and Wales taking on the USA. What a day of football it is. We'll see you soon.